If you have ever had to complete some sort of training, maybe it was training that you had to complete when you started a new job. Maybe there was a course or part of a course that you had to sit through an hour, 2 hour long video or lecture in high school, in college, wherever, that you just started to zone out. Maybe you're starting to zone out in this video right now. Whatever it is, that is why microlearning even exists. Because as learners, yourself, myself included, we want to learn in micro chunks. And we want to learn in the moment with micro chunks and retrospectively in micro chunks. And that is what we're going to talk about today in this video. What is microlearning? Welcome to the eLearning Simplified YouTube channel. This channel exists to simplify your e-learning process so that you can get your e-learning, your online courses and virtual trainings in front of your learners as quickly as possible, while providing as much value for your learners as possible. I'm Johnny Havey, one of the co-founders of eLearning Partners, the organization responsible for this YouTube channel. And what we have for you is, you stay till the end of this video, we have a free giveaway just for you. So what is microlearning? Microlearning is when you take any subject, any topic, that could be onboarding new employees, the different steps. It could be teaching something about your manufacturing process, the different steps. It could be a subject that you're trying to teach to your classes at school. Whatever it is, it's when you take a topic and you break it down into learning bites. Learning bites. We call these least common denominators learning bites because really what you're doing is, if you have an hour of content, so let's start with an hour of content. 1 hour. Let's say that you have a 1 hour training on different onboarding principles for your organization that your employees need to go through in order to onboard as new hires. You have 1 hour. Now, maybe your employee will sit through that 1 hour in one session. The problem is, now if they have a question on that 1 hour, if it's delivered to them as the full hour and not a learning bite or micro, they have to scrape through that 1 hour of content to answer their question. But when you break this hour down into content that is no more than 10 minutes long, but closer to the 5-minute mark, you're looking at having between 6 and 12 learning bites or micro learnings. And what this allows you to do is, this 1 hour of onboarding content or manufacturing content, whatever it is, whatever type of content you're creating, you're able to really get into, okay, so I have somewhere between 6 and 12 pieces of content in 1 hour. How did I get that math? Well, an hour is 60 minutes, okay? Divided by 10, you get 6. Divided by 5, you get 12. So 10 minutes will give you 6, 5 will give you 12. So you have between 6 and 12 pieces of content. What you're able to do now is focus on one topic in each piece of content. Okay, so instead of covering 12 different topics in 1 hour, or 6 to 12 different topics in 1 hour, you're covering one topic one learning bite, one topic. That's what you're doing. One topic in that 5 to 10 minutes of content. So now it's easier for you to stay on track when it comes to, oh, did we say enough about that topic? And it makes it easier for your learner to take in all the knowledge that you're providing them in that topic because they get a break. Think about it. When you read a book is broken down into chapters. Okay, so we have the book, we have chapters. Then within those chapters, a lot of times you have subsections or subchapters. If you don't have subchapters, well, you definitely have paragraphs. So in this example, the paragraphs would be the learning bites. They have one topic. That's what the microlearning is, those paragraphs. The paragraphs make up the subchapters. The subchapters make up the chapters. Chapters make up the book. You broke things down into paragraphs for a reason. Same thing here. When you go from one paragraph to the next, there's a little break. I don't know about you, but when I read a book, I tend to stop after I finish a paragraph. So if I only have so much time to read a book, I will literally bookmark when I finish a paragraph. Same thing here. This allows your learners to stop and then come back and jump into a new microlearning, a new learning bite, a new topic, a new paragraph when they come back to your microlearning program. So, when we're talking about microlearning, you can use microlearning in a lot of different ways. You can break your classroom discussions as a professor down into microlearning chunks where you teach 5 to 10 minutes at a time, and then you have your students go through different questions and you have an activity. Maybe you are a trainer and you do a lot of in-person training or training over Zoom, and you want to break your training into segments. You may still have your audience for a couple hours, but instead of just talking for a couple hours, you can every 5 to 10 minutes stop and get your students involved in an activity or have someone ask a question or answer a question. So when microlearning is used in person or live, it works really well to keep your audience engaged from the standpoint of it gives you an opportunity to either ask them questions or have them ask you questions, okay? Now, when you use microlearning for your online courses, online trainings, your e-learning, it does two things. One, it does exactly what we just said, which is continuous engagement. It allows you to ask for engagement between topics instead of just, hey, here's 2 hours of content, check this out. So engagement. So it gives you an opportunity for engagement. The other thing, and this is the bonus piece that only online learning allows, is it also gives your learners the opportunity to retroactively revisit topics, which we talked about at the beginning. But the cool thing about this is you're basically creating searchable content. Probably how you found this video on YouTube, you searched something about microlearning, or you got recommended this video from another video you either watched about microlearning or something related to this topic. The cool thing about microlearning is you are creating a database. Instead of having a 60-minute piece of content, like we said, you can have 6 to 12 pieces of content that are now searchable because each of these pieces of content has its own topic. It has one topic. So your students, your learners, retroactively can search, oh, I want to change my healthcare plan. And instead of going through the 1 hour, the 5 hour, whatever it is, onboarding training, they can just search healthcare plan. And then that 10-minute piece of content comes up, tells them all about how to change their healthcare plan. And you just solved their problem retroactively instead of 100% relying on them to remember the 60 minutes, 5 hours, 10 hours, however many hours of content that they ingested when they first took that training. Remember, we only are able to really take in 10% of what is happening when we're taking a training. So right now, you're probably only going to remember 10% of what we're talking about in this video. That's fine, because you can always come back to this video by searching what is microlearning, and you're going to get a video about microlearning to answer your question. Same thing here. And this is what we should all be focused on creating in our businesses, is searchable content for our employees, for our consumers. So if you're building an e-learning program, an online learning program that you're selling, same thing. So from an internal e-learning perspective, what this allows you to do is you may be recording tons of content, right? Tons of onboarding content. You could be recording 2 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours at a time, Zoom calls, just picking up your phone, recording different processes that you have. That's perfect. That's a perfect starting point that you can then break those pieces of content down into these searchable nuggets that are between 6 and 12 learning bytes per hour of content. So if you have that 4-hour training that you built out, let's do some math. 4 times 6 be 24. 4 times 12, 48. So you're looking at 24 to 48 pieces of content. And yet again, some learners and some pieces of content may need to be smaller for some learners. So maybe you have learners that need 3-minute pieces of content. Well, if we're looking at 3 minutes, then you're looking at 20 pieces of content per 60 minutes. Okay? So that would mean that we'd have, we'll go down here, we go 20, we go 3 minutes. So that means that we get 20 times 4 equals 80. The cool thing about this, why we like these formulas, is it takes the guesswork out. Now you don't have to look at the 1 hour and be like, oh God, how do I break this down? It's like, okay, well, no matter what, it's going to be somewhere between 6 and 12. Maybe it's between 6 and 20 if I want to get really, really down to the subtopics of the topics. But really, you just have to focus on breaking it down to 6 to 12 pieces of content. Not that difficult to do. So from an external perspective, when your consumers who are purchasing your online courses, your e-learning programs, they may go through your whole program and learn how they can lose weight, but also healthily train for a marathon, right? So they're eating enough calories to sustain them while training for a marathon, and they're also losing weight. And they may need a tip about, okay, 4 weeks before the marathon, what do I need to do, right? Because this could be like the second or third marathon they're doing, and they just want to look. Well, if you have it all built out in hours and hours of content, it's not searchable. But what you could do is literally your consumer, your learner can search week 15, and then the week 15 video comes up, and it tells you exactly what to do. So that's the cool thing when you apply microlearning to e-learning, to online learning, is you get this bonus metric of searchable content. To recap, microlearning is when you break down any kind of topic into learning bites, learning bits, learning paragraphs. These are those paragraphs. What do these paragraphs do? They focus on one topic only, just one topic. What is the purpose of breaking down these pieces of content into microlearnings? To increase engagement. That is the purpose. You want to increase engagement because when you give your learners an opportunity to engage after learning a 5 to 10 minute piece of content, they're going to retain that information a lot better. And they're not going to feel like, oh God, I have hours and hours of content that I need to consume. It's like, no, just get through the next 5 minutes, the next 10 minutes. You can break up the content with check-on learnings. If you're doing a live training, you can open the floor for your learners to ask you questions. That's the cool thing. So it allows for engagement. And then lastly, when it comes to an online learning perspective, searchable content, this is the most important item here because it's so important the cat fell off. It is the most important item here because your learners are already used to searching things on Google, searching things on YouTube, and searching for things on social media. This is how they want to learn. So create microlearning, take our free masterclass, which you get because you watch the whole video here. And that free masterclass is actually going to teach you how to do this even further, how to figure out exactly what topics to start with when creating your online learning. It's going to tell you how you can start looking at segmenting those topics so that your learners get value every time. So there's a link below the video. Check that out. Sign up. Remember to create that searchable content. Go search for another fun video next. Otherwise, you can check out one of our playlists and search through that for another microlearning about e-learning. And we'll see you in the next video. We get asked all the time, how long is micro? How long should microlearning be? Well, it's simple. Microlearning needs to be as long as your learners have the attention span for it. But you're probably here for a more concrete answer than that, so stay tuned and we'll give you that answer as well.